Hey everybody, it's Renato and Jackie, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of our Spill the Petals podcast, where every other week or so we get together with industry friends, talk about industry information, gossip, trends, what have you, and our special guests often contribute great insight into the conversation, and we have two such friends with us today. We have Kelly Mace, who is the marketing manager at Smithers Oasis, and we have Laura Rich, who is the director of marketing. Walsh, sorry.
I still do that too. So
sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. But we were joking around that we obviously are talking to the right people because being on the marketing team at Smithers Oasis, they know everything. So how about if I turn it over to you guys, and you guys could provide a little bit more in-depth introduction to yourselves.
Sure. Well, great. Again, my name is Kelly Mace. I've been with the company for 30 years. I just celebrated my 30th anniversary, and I had a pretty big year this year. This was a big initial year for us, achieving my AAF and my PFCI and my CFD. So we did a lot in the year. We both worked together on it, and so yes, we had a big year. So after 30 years, it only took me 30 to do it, but I'm happy I did. Yeah. So yeah, marketing manager, and like I said, been here for a long time.
That's awesome. And I'm Laura Walsh. I have not been at Smithers Oasis quite as long as Kelly Mace. I'm going on, it'll be 6 years here pretty soon, which is kind of crazy how time flies. So just as Kelly said, this was a big year for us. We, all of those credentials that she mentioned, we both were able to achieve those. So that's pretty awesome. And although I haven't been part of the floriculture industry any more than 6 years, I've been around marketing for about 17 or 18 now, which seems kind of crazy to say that. And I've always worked in like the agriculture industry. So floriculture, it just fits right aligned with, my values and what's important to me.
Laura, can I press you just a little bit? What was the previous organization you worked for?
That's very interesting.
It's kind of crazy. So I used to work for a company in the livestock and in the equine industry. So I worked for a manufacturer. So I actually grew up on an Angus cattle farm. So agriculture has always been a big thing that's very important to me. I was a member of the FFA, as we like to go talk to all those great FFA students and encourage them to get into careers in floriculture and horticulture. I was one of those kids. But yeah, and then I worked as a marketing director for a livestock and equine company that sold supplies. And then from there, I started to do a little bit of like crop freelance kind of work. And then I finally found my forever home in floriculture. And I'll tell you, it's prettier and smells better than cows. So I'm going to take it.
Right.
Before we jump into more about Smithers and some of the questions we'd like to ask,
sure.
I think it's important that you expand a little bit on why you both felt it was important to reach for some of those certifications, because you're on the marketing team. A lot of people don't do that in a lot of ways, and I think it's important to share why it was important to each of you.
Sure. Well, I think it was a personal goal. First of all, it's something that I've always wanted to do. For CFD, or for trying for AIFD, we trained for about a year. We put ourselves out there, and we every month got together. We had a project that we did, and we participate a lot with AIFD, SAF, all the associations. So it was good to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So to walk into PFCI, and you're like, oh, so this is what they go through, and this is how the products are used, and so we really got a firsthand behind the scenes how it all works, because we don't, usually we send the product, and for that particular thing, we don't know what's being sent. We weren't this last time we weren't told what was said, but we kind of, just didn't know what to expect, and then we really really found out quick.
Yeah, it was really exciting. And
it was exciting.
Yeah, and within our team here at Smithers Oasis, Kelly and I are very instrumental in developing all of the products that you see out in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really awesome for us to be able to be put through the same paces, to spend time learning the things that we love about some of our products, and learn, honestly, some things that we didn't love so much, right? So it's given us a great opportunity.
It really did.
It's given us a great opportunity to really understand what's good and what's bad.
Right.
And I'm actually really pleased to tell you there are quite a few new products coming on the horizon. Can't quite talk about them just yet. That were direct results of Kelly and I studying this.
Yes.
So it's pretty exciting.
Right. So why wouldn't we do this?
Exactly.
And why do we do that?
Exactly. So it was exciting.
Very different on each side of the table, both.
Right.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want your job. It's too hard.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to push this one to do the same thing, but for those certifications.
You know what? So you guys are mentioned all the time. Look at me, Laura and Kelly. Why can't you do the same thing?
It's terrifying, but it's so humbling.
It really is.
It's so humbling.
It really was.
And it's probably, going to test for AIFD was probably the most vulnerable thing I've done in decades, I guess. And Kelly and I talk about this all the time, that as adults, we don't do things that we're not good at.
Right.
Like, we don't put ourselves in a light that maybe isn't the best light for us, or maybe a little unflattering. So to go be so vulnerable with the people that we respect
our
so
peers
much,
and the people.
Stop sharing. You're making it sound so appealing.
Oh my God. I'm terrified.
Oh yeah, sign me up for all of that.
It was great.
Beautiful journey of growth.
Well, let's jump into some of the questions that we'd really like to ask you guys.
Sure.
We've all just gone through a couple of years of change, and not just change with what was going on in the world, but change in all of our companies as well. There's been major changes that we learned from what we went through and what we've grown from. And we're hoping that this is starting to get to the end. But I just wanted to ask real quickly about the supply chain. You guys went through similar situations that we did here at NAPCO and BloomNet, and it's correcting itself. But how do you feel that has changed, and what, where is it as far as your company is concerned?
So I'm pleased to say the supply chain, knock on wood, is getting pretty close to being, back to normal, which is great. It took us, it's taken us years to really rise above some of the COVIDian challenges that we've had. So we are really excited to say that we've been able to iron some of these out. And it was something that none of us could have really prepared for. And I always like to say it was my first pandemic. The second one, I'll be better. I promise. I've learned a lot. Pandemic, trust me, we're going to be amazing.
Right.
Knocking on wood.
Exactly.
Right.
I'll be fantastic at it. I promise. I'm a quick learner. But really, at the end of the day, we came up against some unprecedented things. Things like, we would get suppliers that just never called us back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no matter how many emails you sent them or how many phone calls, they just never called you back. To this day, we've never heard back from them. So we had to
just disappear. They're
gone. Maybe.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know, or they didn't want to hear from us anyways. I'm not really sure. I don't know. But so we had to replace vendors, which meant we maybe had to look at a component or, a different input into something that we make. And it took us a long time to maybe get caught up with, the supply chain, but then even to, vet the products and do all of our quality checks that we do, send it out to the right teams, do all the testing. But we're finally getting back to the point where we can say that, we've been able to handle all of our out of stock issues. But it's been really good for us. We put new quality procedures in place. We've gone through and we've maybe, opened up our pool of suppliers a little bit. We've been demanding a little bit more out of our suppliers. And it's been really good at helping us do a better job at servicing, our customers.
Right.
So we could decisively say on this broadcast that there are absolutely no more product challenges from a Smithers Oasis point of view, because all that has been rectified and there's no shortage.
Everything has been rectified.
There are so many people are glad to hear that.
Yes.
Yes, me too.
Right.
There were times that tube glue was like gold.
Right. It really was. It
Mini
was like
prize.
I had people calling me like on the daily, and it was just over in your sample room. Is there any? And I'm like, let me go over, and I'd find one, and I'd wrap it up, and and get it to them. But
and I'd use glue to like trade for favors,
right,
right?
right,
If you help me, I'll help you, like that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
really, I mean,
Right.
we didn't have any like big supplies of it either.
right,
And there were
We
some
did the
times
same
during,
thing here.
yeah, it's
Right.
We have some Smithers Oasis glue.
right. So we're all back in stock with the glue, foam, midnight. Everything is back. So absolutely.
Since you mentioned foam, because we've been working a lot on sustainability, and it's one of our major focuses coming in over the next year. And there's a lot of discussion about foam alternatives. Since you are in the foam business, what is your input on foam and foam alternatives?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we hear this all the time. So some people will say things like, oh, I'm foam free, or I'm looking for other alternatives. And what do you guys think about that? And at the end of the day, I always like to encourage people that there are some jobs that foam is great for, right? There are other times when foam is not so great, right? You really need to look at what mechanic you're using and what's really going to bring you the most value. And sometimes that's not foam, and we're okay with that, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that you're using the right mechanic for the job. And then this is kind of like a little bit of a couple part for me here, but when you do decide it's foam or it's water tubes or it's chicken wire or whatever mechanic that you're going to look at or whatever item that you're going to choose, we would just ask that if you use it responsibly and correctly, right? So that you understand how to use your mechanic to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck and you're not wasting it, right? So we talk about this, and Kelly and I laugh all the time. There's this whole idea that like when you foam a container, like you have to foam like every inch of the container. Like there should be no space.
Right.
That's not true. Like that's an outdated ideology on how to work with foam. And really, you guys are such talented designers. I mean, you can get around those, those little types of gaps, right? And so instead of necessarily, if you don't need a whole brick for the job, cut the brick when it's dry, use what you need, and use the rest of it later. But you could really say that for any mechanic that you're going to use. And if you're going to go ahead and take something, make sure that you use it. It's important for us all to be good stewards of our resources. And when we talk about sustainability means something different to every single person. And that's fine, right? That's right. And I'm sure if we asked you guys what sustainability means to you guys, it might look a little different than what sustainability means to Smithers Oasis, right? People often talk about environmental things. They might want to talk about, people, planet, prosperity types of areas. But because we know sustainability means something different for everybody, we understand that we need to make something for every designer's challenge. And if you look at our portfolio of like floral foundations, you're going to see that. You're going to see our Max Life Floral Foam, which is the only degradable foam on the market. We're pretty proud and excited about that. Took, oh my gosh, 10 years to develop that, and it continues to, improve every year. We've got our Oasis Parabrick. Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. Just a real quick question, just to educate our viewers.
Sure.
Like, what's the degradation life on that new Max Life?
Great question.
I get questions like that.
Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So it degrades 75% in 1 year. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what about the other 25%?
Right.
What's happening with that?
Right.
But technically, under U.S. law of what we can claim as far as degradation rates go, you can only claim what can degrade in 1 year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And the other, because we've done so much research in sustainability that we do get a lot of questions back, and there is a perception out there that floral foam may not be safe. Is there? Could you address that concern from folks?
Yeah, for sure. I hear this all the time.
Okay.
And this is probably one of the biggest myths out there in floral foam is that floral foam is toxic, it's carcinogenic, that I'm going to inhale it and get cancer and I'm going to have all these issues. And we can 100% say that floral foam is not toxic, not carcinogenic, completely safe for use.
Mm-hmm.
I laugh because when we always laugh about like formaldehyde,
Right.
because there is a natural off-gassing of formaldehyde when floral foam is created, and it's just a natural byproduct of two inputs, right? But it's off-gassed outside. It's put in a corrugate box. It's shipped to your wholesaler. It continues to leach out of the brick, and by the time you get it, there's a negligible, if anything, amount of formaldehyde that is still part of it.
Right.
And so when we talk to people, they go, "Oh, floral foam, it's just got so much formaldehyde in it," and they like to paint this story like
just
like we're a witch's cauldron.
Right.
Like we got this big witch's cauldron making our home, and we
mm-hmm.
dump some formaldehyde in it, and that's really not the case. So floral foam, it's considered it's a cured article. It poses no health risks whatsoever. We've got the SDS sheets on our website to be able to provide additional information.
Right.
But yeah, I hear this all the time, and let me assure you, it is 100% false.
Right.
And are you guys doing anything like proactive to spread the word about?
Why, yes. Yes,
Okay.
we are.
You share.
Yes, we are. And I'll just start this. And we're launching a new campaign. It's coming up, and it's called No Foam, and it's KNOW Foam. And so it's coming out probably within the next month or so. Oh. And so you're going to see a lot of.
Did everyone hear it first here on Spill the Petals?
Yes, you actually did. You actually did. This is exclusive. It really is.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a campaign that we've been working on, and it's exciting. We're going to have lots. You're going to see it all over social. You're going to see it all over our ads. You're going to see it everywhere, and you're going to see a lot of the myths debunked and more of the facts, so people are truly have all the information that they need.
Yeah,
and that really is what it's all about, is having all the information.
Right.
And I know, because I've been up to your plant and had the opportunity to see how things were made and how they were done, and we love being able to defend not just our friends, but products that we love to use. And I 100% agree, and I'm going to steal that foam is right for some projects, not for other projects, and that's okay, because I think it's really just getting down to the basics. Keep it simple, and make sure and share that information. So we're so happy to hear that.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited. We know the internet has so many rumors and lies, and I don't even know where they get half the things that they do. Despite what you think, not everything on the internet is true. So we're excited.
I know, right?
So shocking. So we're excited to really help people know foam and really understand it, because people will think they know it. They might not. It's time to give it a second look.
Well, we'll certainly help you spread the word through our channels as well.
Thank you.
You can count on us.
Great. Thank you.
Well, on to a couple more questions. Yeah. We have so many questions that we wanted to ask, and we tried to.
We could be here for over an hour, easy.
Absolutely, easily do that. But I know that a lot of companies, including ourselves, have gone through what services and products that we use and have trimmed back some of those core products. Can you just talk a little bit about what Smithers Oasis did in those terms?
Sure. We do a SKU rationalization. So we take a look at the products that we have in our line, take a look at, sales, we take a look at the availability, and, we meet as a team. Actually, we're meeting next week. Don't be scared. But we did see that there was some products in our line that, that weren't they weren't the best. So we just went ahead and took those out. We cleaned it up a little bit, and focusing on a lot of the products that we know that florists love, that that makes their jobs easier. And so we're, like I said, we're meeting next week, and we'll do our next look. And that might be one or two products, or it might be more. It just depends.
So stay tuned for more on that subject.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
To ask a question. Any new products you guys are adding to the line that you want to share with us today?
For new products, I know that you have probably heard of our new event saddle. So the new event saddle we've been introducing at a lot of the shows, and you're seeing a lot of it. It's a new it's a tray that you can use for funeral design. You can use it on top of caskets. You can use it for events. So we're showing that a lot. It's a great new product. It's 75% recycled materials, and yeah, so we've been really showing that. We're bringing that out to a new show that we haven't done, a show called Wedding MBA. So we're going to show a lot of the people in the wedding industry how you can use what would be traditionally called like a casket saddle, but it's an event saddle now. So yeah, so we're going to bring that out there and show them how they can use that for all sorts of event work.
And can I tell a funny
Jackie's
story?
going to be hanging out with you because he's headed out there too.
Are you going to?
Yeah. Also, just
we have never been.
Yeah, we haven't. Yes.
I just got some of the new event saddles too, and getting ready to do a video on.
Great, thank you.
Because I think it's not just the fact that the name change. I think has a lot to do with it as well.
Right.
Because casket saddle is not something that was really easy to share when you were working on a positive event. So I love the change of the name as well as the size. I think is just so much more adaptable too. So I'm excited to get to use it.
I love that. I love that. And since we're just kind of like talking, having a good time here, I got to tell you a funny story about this event saddle. So my favorite part about this event saddle is how much weight can it hold?
Weight?
It holds a lot of weight. I don't remember what the exact number is, but my favorite part is our engineer on staff that created it. The way he likes to sell it to people is he stands on it and he like jumps on it, which is amazing. So you should have seen him at AIFD. He was like jumping up and down.
Oh my gosh,
And I'm like, I love it. I love it. That's my favorite part about this whole thing is that it holds the weight of our engineer.
Yes, and he's well. They weigh themselves every week, so I see their weight up on the board. So it's like
180 pounds that he's able to jump on it. It's hilarious.
Right.
I was just going to say I am not going to jump on the event side.
Right.
But maybe you could.
You guys mentioned AIFD. You guys mentioned Wedding MBA. It seems like Smithers Oasis is everywhere, and you're not everywhere just to market your product, but you're there to really support the industry. Has that, and it seems, I mean, from our perception, I think a lot of people share this perception. You guys are strong supporters of the industry. Does that remain the case, or has it changed over these last few years?
Oh, I think absolutely. We're as strong as ever, and I think even more so. We have more avenues now. We have a lot more new florists and new groups. With you've got DevX, you've got Next Gen, you've got all these new new florists coming out, and so we're marketing to them a lot too. So yeah, we're definitely out there and trying new things. Wedding MBA. We're doing intrigue design. We're doing inspired design. We do a lot with them. So we're doing lots of different things with, and we're still, of course, doing, a lot of the, traditional people that we, support, but trying new things as well.
That was one of the things that we wanted to ask you about was the new florist, because we all know that there are a lot of different segments in the industry now that used to be lumped into one, but we're seeing people that are doing this as a side gig. They're doing it in addition to what they do. They're expanding or changing the brick and mortar now into more of what we are calling new florists. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are reaching out and actually identifying that there is a new segment in the industry.
Right.
What about renewed interest in targeting DIY? Because that continues to change from where it first started. And I've been in the industry for longer than all of us, and almost as long as everyone added together, I hate to say, but the DIY has gone from a negative connotation to something that's an important part of the industry. And I know that you guys are in a lot of areas as far as being able to purchase your product. And is that something that you continue to adapt and change as the DIY definition changes as well?
That's a good question. So like you'll see that if you get on Amazon, you can buy some of our Oasis Floral products on Amazon. Those are all supported by our wholesalers. Anything that's that Oasis Floral brand is supported and managed by our wholesale partners, which is great because we don't have time for all that.
Right.
And then even on our own website, anybody can purchase directly, including a DIYer. And I firmly believe that if you are a DIY individual who's got an interest in florals, like, you're good for us, right? DIY floral enthusiasts, it's a gateway drug to harder flowers, right? Because they appreciate what we do, they value it,
Right.
because they love having florals,
Yes.
in whether in their home or they recognize the need for them. I mean, when we get those special occasions, they're going to call a designer. They see the value, they understand it. So I think, just as you said, DIYers are now more important than ever to what we're doing.
Well, and I would rather see someone use the correct mechanics than incorrect, and sharing that incorrect information, because we all know that it's a lot harder to pull that incorrect information back in, just like we talked about phone. It's so much more challenging to get that back once it's out there. So I'm glad to hear that you support the DIY and that you see that it's an important part of our industry.
Yes.
Okay, one last question. Like, I know you guys mentioned Wedding MBA and your participation in it. Are there any other events that you guys are promoting, or any education that you're promoting in the next few months?
Yes. So we've got a couple things. We are doing, next week, we're doing Pedal It Forward. So we always participate in that. We're doing it at Kent State University. And again, showing the younger population what it feels like to receive flowers and what it feels like to give flowers. This was our first year that we did it at Kent State. We did it last year, and this will be our second year there. We've always done it like downtown Kent, but doing it to the students was night and day. They were so excited to get these flowers. So we're doing that next week. We have Profit Blast coming up in Chicago, so we're doing that. We have, let's see, what do we have? Profit Blast. I know
She's trying to think through
of all those, like, spreadsheet, like, yes,
right.
we have so many, of those. We have our own Oasis University that we do. We have a new program coming up. It's our ambassador program. So we have 25 designers that are going to be part of our ambassadors. They registered. It's an ambassador program.
When did your ambassador program kick off? Is it just this year?
It is on November 15th, and it would just be exclusive to the people that are included in this first round. And so they'll be going ahead, and they'll be, we'll be teaching them different things on Oasis, and they'll be kind of the experts out there, and and including our design directors too.
Of course.
So it's like train the trainer. Our design directors will be training these designers. So yeah.
Yeah, this past summer we actually we promoted the Oasis Ambassador Program. We had great support, and each candidate had to apply. They had to go through a process for us, and I think we're going to have a really good group.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, coming from a designer who has been in the industry for well over 40 years, I say this all the time when I'm teaching and traveling and doing programs. I don't know where the industry would be without the advances that Smithers Oasis floral product has provided for us and given to us. So I appreciate it so much. Love getting to use all the products and share with others and inspire others to incorporate the products and use it correctly. So thank you so much from the floral designers in the industry. We appreciate everything you guys do.
And on behalf of Floriology BloomNet, we thank you for appearing on our Spill the Petals podcast. In case you're listening to this on audio, such as Apple Podcasts, there is a video version of this, so you can see all our smiling faces and see how really good friends we are, just from our reactions with one another on Facebook and the Floriology YouTube channel. So Laura, Kelly, again, thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your support as well. Thank you.
Got it.
Well, and remember what we like to say, there's no use crying over spilled petals. We'll see you next time.
All righty.